ating samahan. Kahit tayo
Social class is a group of people within a society who possess the same socio-economic status. People in the same social class typically share similar level of wealth, educational achievement, type of job, and income. Let's take a look at the social structure of ancient Egypt. The arrangement starts from farmers and slaves at the bottom, followed by craftsmen, merchants, scribes, soldiers, government officials, nobles, priests, and up to the highest, the pharaoh. As you can see, there consist of identifiable groups of individuals whose lifestyles are different from those other classes. However, social class is not formal groups with a strong identity. Being grouped in terms of social class is all about recognizing that everyone has a vital role to play for the society to function smoothly. Social classes are also based on a group of individuals that share similar life experiences, similar values, and similar behavior patterns. Society's social class systems usually have three major classes. However, finer distinctions are made. The United States is divided into 7 levels. 70% of the society came from the middle class. Seeing that the largest part is composed of middle class, this kind of distribution defines that there is a greater equality among people compared to other societies. In Japan, they don't agree with social class systems. Instead, they mix the people together from all levels of society. The Japanese were very strict with those really capable to be in the government positions because it is only for those in the higher classes. Meanwhile, in India and Latin America, they really focus on the lower classes. The upper classes in societies are more similar to each other because they are cosmopolitan and international in orientation. Middle classes may represent a means of achieving upward social mobility. Lower classes are most likely to be culture-bound and tend to be the most different in terms of lifestyles and behaviors. A particular social class may contain different economic substrata. Overprivileged families. Their income level is 20 to 30% more than the median of their class. They have funds to buy items beyond the basic necessities. Class average families. Their income level is average for their social class. They can afford house, car, and appropriate clothing. Underprivileged families. Their income are below the median and might be having trouble meeting class expectations. We have to keep in mind that the concept of social class is not negative. We have to understand that all levels of the social class hierarchy gives an important contribution to society in order for us to achieve the overall goal.
Social class influence. Meet Pablo and Simon, two friends that came from different social class. But despite their differences, it doesn't affect their relationship at all. Instead, they take this as an advantage to learn and influence each other with the trend in their own class. For example, clothing styles adopted by the upper class often become popular with other groups. This is called the trickle-down effect. Trickle-down effect, trends that starts in the upper classes and then are copied by lower classes. On the other hand, a status float can occur, whereby trends starts in the lower and middle classes and then spread upward. For example, tattoos. which began in lower classes and moved into the upper classes. Social class structures are important because they strongly affect norms and values and therefore behavior. But the norms and behavior of consumers in one class can also influence consumers in the other social classes.
Hello everyone! I know all of us are wondering in which social class we belong. And today, we are going to learn how social class is determined. One determinant of social class is income. So I asked some people if they believe that income or money really affects the social status of a person. These are their opinions.
As a small business owner, income is very important to us, and of course, it really affects our social status because how can we buy the things that we need and wants in life?
No, kasi hindi lang sa income na base ang social status ng isang tao. Pwede rin sa lifestyle.
Yung income natin, malaki yung influensya sa life natin. Kaya if mas malaki yung income natin, may possibility mas mataas yung status natin kasi may kakayanan tayo ma-fulfill yung mga needs natin.
Many people believe that more money means higher social standing. However, income is not strongly related to social class for several reasons. First, income levels often overlap social classes, particularly at the middle and lower levels. For example, many U.S. blue-collar workers have higher incomes than some white-collar workers, yet they do not have higher social standing. Second, income increases greatly with age, but older workers do not automatically achieve higher social status. Finally, in many countries, an increasing number of dual-career families generate a higher than average income but do not necessarily attain a higher status.
Although income is a factor related to social class, other factors play key roles as well. One of these is occupation and education.
Occupation and education. The greatest determinant of class standing is occupation, particularly in Western cultures. Individuals with the same occupation tend to share similar income, lifestyles, knowledge, and values. Researchers can easily measure occupation by asking consumers what they do for a living. They can then code the responses and compare them with the published scales of occupational prestige such as the widely used Socioeconomic Index or the NAM and Power Scale. Conspicuous consumption and status symbol. Conspicuous, standing out so as to be clearly visible, attracting notice or attention. Conspicuous consumption, the acquisition and display of goods and services to show off one's status.
As we can see in the animation, that is an example of keeping up with the Joneses. If one family in a neighborhood wants something new in their house, another family might feel like they deserve something new too. They might be envious of their neighbor, and when this happens, people often say that they're just trying to keep up with the Joneses.
Conspicuous ways, visibly buying products and services that no one ever uses. Example, piano that no one plays and a car that no one drives. Status symbol. Goods or services become status symbols to indicate their owner's place in the social hierarchy. Parody display, status symbols that start in the lower social classes and move upward. As a fashion statement, ripped jeans are one example of a parody expression which first emerged in the 90s. Fraudulent symbols, symbols that become so widely adopted that they lose their status. Compensatory consumption, the consumer behavior of buying products or services to offset frustrations or difficulties in life. After knowing the consumption pattern and the conspicuous consumption, let's now talk about money. Money is an important concept related to social class. It is a medium of exchange or the standard of payment. It is what we use to buy the things that we use and consume in our daily lives.
For you, what is money?
Money can be defined as anything that people use to buy goods and services. Money is what many people receive for selling their own things or services. It is primarily a medium of exchange or means of exchange. Everyone uses money. We all want it, work for it, and think about it. Money is the best way to get the things we need and desires.
What is the importance of money?
Money is not everything, but money is something very important. Beyond the basic needs, money helps us achieve our life goals and supports the things we care about most deeply: family, education, healthcare, charity, adventure, and fun.
How do I spend my money? I spend my money on important things. Creating a budgeting per month. Example, I usually spend on the needs and wants only, the important needs. And I also follow the rule, the 20%, 40%, 60% rule. That rule that how can we save money and how can we handle our money correctly. That's how I spend my money monthly.
My name is Money. Almost everyone wants me, but no one understands me. I am a noble woman of humble beginnings. My parents toil and trade, earned their living by the sweat of their brow. As a child, I had a special talent. I could help people exchange value for value. Where once people could only barter, now they could buy. You can take me anywhere. You can store me, save me. I grew up, and the town grew with me, and word of my special powers soon spread. People came from all over. Most came in goodwill. They brought ideas, energy, life. We lived in peace and growing prosperity. But in our midst and outside our gates lurked evil. His name was Envy. He brought no value, nothing to trade, only need and greed. They brought looters who came and destroyed our village. They denounced me as evil.
Just like anything else, money has its own good side and downside.
Personally, I believe that money is not the root of all evil, but the love and greed for it is. When a person worships or adored money more than anything else, he or she is willing to do anything even if it's bad. And that is where evilness starts. Yes, money is important because it will give us everything that we want. But have we ever wondered if it's really the one that will give us real happiness in our lives? Money is important, and so does love, respect, and kindness.
How the household influences the consumer behavior. Household itself is the most important unit of analysis for consumer behavior because households make many more acquisition, consumption, and disposition decisions than individuals do.
How each member affect the buying decisions.
Our buying decisions are usually affected by each member of the family. For example, we're going to buy something that is costly. We will discuss it with our kids. But since our kids are just minors, they're only 12 and 14-year-old, we usually made the final decision, their parents. But of course, when they want to buy something of their own, they can also decide what they want to buy. But we will just influence them about the quality, sometimes about the color that they're going to choose. But they will be the one to decide what they really want to buy. And sometimes our kids, they also influence us by saying, "Oh, mommy, hindi bagay sa'yo yan," or "Hindi bagay sa'yo yung style, mommy." Yan. Dun sa mga gusto kong bilhin. But then, of course, sometimes we are being influenced by them because they are millennials, so we don't know what's the right style for us because, you know, we have a gap of age na talagang, kumbaga, they're 12, they're 14, and now we are on our 50s.
Now let's talk about the types of households. Household is a broader term that includes a single person living alone or a group of individuals who live together in a common dwelling, regardless of whether they are related. This term includes cohabiting couples, unmarried male and female living together, gay couples, and singles who are roommates. Family is usually defined as a group of individuals living together who are related by marriage, blood, or adoption. The most typical unit is the nuclear family, consisting of a father, mother, and children. The extended family consists of the nuclear family, plus relatives such as grandparents, whereas the extended family is the defining unit in many nations. Family life cycle. Different stages of family life depending on the age of the parents and how many children are living at home. Marketers must consider the great variation in needs over the family life cycle and the effect on consumer behavior within households. However, this pattern depends on what is purchased. New parents tend to spend more on healthcare, clothing, housing, and food. Now let's talk about the changing trends in household structures. 5 main factors are altering the basic structure and characteristics of households. These include delayed marriage, cohabitation, dual careers, divorce, and smaller families. As individuals delay the marriage due to pursue careers, they spend less than the married couples. They tend to buy clothes and focus on traveling. Cohabiting couples are found to be more syncretic in their decision-making when purchasing alcoholic beverages than married couples. Married couples make purchasing decisions separately, while cohabiting couples made most of theirs together. Since both parents are working, found that working wives make fewer shopping trips. It constrains on the performance of household duties such as shopping, cooking, and cleaning. Divorce can alter household structure by, for instance, creating single-parent households. Divorce often impacts children's education, resulting progress or limited financial support for learning opportunities. Families are smaller now due to the growth of single-parent households and the drop in fertility. Single parenting will likely experience higher rates of poverty, and this will result in the lack of capability to buy the needs of the family.
You have to start paying attention in the next videos, because if not, you won't learn anything. We'll know the definition of innovations. Also learn how diffusion curves relate to the life cycle of the product. You will be able to describe how innovation can be classified in terms of their type.
What's Gibby thinking about?
Innovation. I want to make something new. Something that's not in the market yet. And is unique, a good one. Innovation is the ability to produce innovative new products that is vital to the sales and future development of a business. Plan to develop something to make people's lives easier. I will offer a new innovative product to marketplace. I propose to you to be my business partner and make new products that I will introduce to the market. These are the products that we will launch in the market. Products, services, attributes, and ideas. It's a V. Characterized by a degree of novelty. What is continuous innovation? It has limited effect on existing consumption pattern. It is used in much the same way as the products that came before it. Next is dynamically continuous. It has an effect on consumption practices. How about discontinuous innovation, a product that we have never known anything like it before?
Innovation characterized by breadth. This innovation can be defined as strategies that enable to access lots of new and different uses for a particular product. For example, baking soda, which can be used as baking ingredients, tooth polisher, carpet deodorizer, and even as a refrigerator deodorizer. How consumers adapt an innovation? Would you choose the innovated one, or you're going to stick on the old one? I asked some people and these are their opinions.
Sa una ay mahihirapan ng consumer na ma-adapt ang innovative product sapagkat ito ay bago sa kanila. Halimbawa sa paggamit ng cellphone, katulad ng keypad na phone noon at touchscreen na phone ngayon. Kung ang isang consumer ay nasanay na gumamit ng keypad na phone at gagamit siya ng touchscreen na phone, ay mahihirapan siyang gumamit nito. Pero kung ang pagbabasihan ay ang kalidad at kagandahan ng paggamit, ay mas lalong lamang ang touchscreen na phone sapagkat nagkaroon ng innovation para mas mabilis na ma-access at mas maraming product o mas maraming pwedeng gamit lalo na at nasa modernong panahon na tayo.
Para sa akin, mas madaling ma-adapt ng mga consumer ang innovative products kasi sa panahon ngayon, mas mapapadali ang mga bagay-bagay dahil sa makabagong teknolohiya. Maaari itong gamitin sa pang-araw-araw na buhay at mas mapapaunlad nito ang kaalaman ng bawat isa.
Kung papipiliin ako na kung innovated o hindi, ang pipiliin ko hindi. Hindi innovated kasi dito na ako mas nasanay at komportable ako dito at hindi na ako mahirapan na mag-adjust pa sa mga produkto na aking gagamitin. Kung papipiliin ako kung innovative product or not, ang pipiliin ko ay ang di-innovative. Dahil di na ako mahirapan na mag-adjust at i-adapt ang isang innovative na product.
Adoption is a purchase of an innovation by an individual consumer. On the other hand, resistance is a desire not to buy the innovation even in the face of pressure to do so. Resistance versus adoption. Marketers want to know whether the consumer would consider the adoption of innovation or they would choose to resist buying it. Marketers also want to know how consumers adapt products and how they decide whether to buy an innovation. Whether consumers adapt an innovation. Resistance may be high if the consumer think that using a new product would involve some risk. They may resist adopting an innovation because they don't want to take a risk and it's more preferable to continue using a familiar product. How consumers adapt an innovation? It depends whether they are prevention-focused, whose priority is safety and protection. They are more likely to resist new offering because of the perceived risk and uncertainty of the new offering entail. And promotion focus, whose priority is advancement and growth, which are most likely to adopt new offering at least when the risks are not salient. The way in which consumers adapt innovation, the high effort hierarchy of effects, the consumer becomes aware of innovation, think about it, gather information about it, and form an attitude based on this information. Meanwhile, the low effort hierarchy of effects, consumers devote less decision-making effort to consider and researching the product before they try it, and then they form an attitude based on the trial. Diffusion is the percentage of the population that has adopted an innovation at a specific point in time. According to Rogers' diffusion curve, the customers are classified into innovators, early adopters, early majority, late majority, and laggards. Innovators are those who want to be the first to try the innovation. Early adopters are those who are comfortable with change and adopting new ideas. Early majority are those who adopt new innovations before the average person. Late majority are those who are skeptical of change and will only adopt an innovation after it's been generally accepted and adopted by the majority of the population. Laggards are the people who are very traditional and conservative. They are the last to make the changeover to new technologies. S-shaped diffusion curve has a slow initial growth of adopters that will rapidly grow as time progresses. On the other hand, exponential diffusion curve has a rapid initial growth of adopters as time progresses.
Good day everyone, this is DJ Anna and here we go to our favorite station 99.9 FM. Many send us a message about factors affecting the shape of the diffusion curve. I know nowadays, many innovators and business owners, businessmen and women will be here. So let us all watch this top TikTok viral video about factors affecting the shape of the diffusion curve.
Papatok ba to sa mga tao? Paano bebenta at tataas ang product natin? Pakinggan na natin si ma'am. I-on nyo na yan! Makinig kayong lahat. Alam niyo bang meron tayong tinatawag na early at late majority kung saan ang mga tao ay bibili lamang o mag-a-adapt ng innovation product kapag gamit ito ng mga kakilala at pinagkakatiwalaan nila. At sa puntong ito, tataas at bibilis ang rate of adoption ng curve. At para ma-reach ang entire community, the innovation must hit the critical mass. At dito, sa S-curve, makikita na ang innovation become widespread and considered a new and accepted social norm.
So guys, we've been watching the video, but before we ask our buyers, we will now first watch the video about what really affects the diffusion curve.
Factors affecting the shape of the diffusion curve. Many factors influence the ultimate shape of the diffusion curve. In general, marketers might expect an S-shaped diffusion curve when the innovation is associated with some social, psychological, economic performance, or physical risk.
Marketing researchers measure the early majority and late majority. Once these two majority groups see the innovation being used by people they know and trust, they will begin to adopt the innovation themselves. It is at this point when the rate of adoption speeds up, steepening the slope of the curve. Now, in order to reach the entire community, the innovation must hit a critical mass. This is the place on the S-curve where the innovation has become so widespread that it continues to diffuse to the remainder of the community on its own. At this point, the innovation is considered a new and accepted social norm.
Consumers might wait to see how other people use and react to the innovation before adopting it.
For example, Samsung released a latest phone, but before the consumer adopt it, they will search information and watch reviews in YouTube to make sure the quality of the product. In this situation, the S-shaped diffusion curve enters because the consumer must first be satisfied before they adopt it. And now, ladies and gentlemen, DJ Riza is here to interview our buyer.
Good day everyone, this is your DJ Raisa and I'm here today to interview Miss Andrea to tell us how she adopts a new innovation product and for us to prove the said about factors affecting the shape of the diffusion curve. So let us all welcome Miss Andrea.
Good day to all of us. I am Andrea, a buyer of a Samsung phone.
So ma'am, mabilis ang tanong lang po ito. What do you consider when buying a Samsung phone?
First of all, I watch reviews on YouTube and then to my friends who bought such brand or innovated products, I ask for their reaction if the quality is good and worth to buy.
So, yon, thank you, Miss Andrea. Because of you, we have proven the factors affecting the shape of the diffusion curve. It depends on our buyers that if they adopt, our diffusion curve will increase rapidly. Thank you!
Thank you so much, Ms. Riza. So, we will now ask Ms. Zamela of how diffusion relates to the product life cycle.
So, Miss Samela, how the diffusion relates to the product life cycle?
The product life cycle. It pertains to the product cycle. When newly equipped in the market or just a new floor, new inventions, the sales are high. But as the time passes by, syempre, innovation, kapag may bagong innovation, malulugi. Magde-decline yung curves kasi nasasakawan ng innovated product. Tapos magiging cycle na siya. Kapag may bagong release, same product, mas advanced lang, malalaos yung isa.
Thank you, Miss Samela. And now we will proceed to the short video about the differences of fad, fashion, and classic.
Fad.
A successful innovation that has a very short period life cycle. It means kapag successfully innovated for a short period of time, tipong successful sa unang release pero mabilis malaos. Fashion. A successful innovation that has a moderately long and potentially cyclical product life cycle. It means kapag successfully innovated yung product, tapos mas matagal malaos compare fad. Classic. A successful innovation that has a lengthy product life cycle. Sa classic naman, kapag well-innovated yung product, tapos parang hindi nakakasawang mag-adapt ng product na yon, kasi parang tipong original ang datingan.
Hello guys! So, anong kwento mo, girl?
Ate, may kwento ko sa inyo tungkol sa cellphone na binili ko. Alam niyo ba yung cellphone ko, bago siyang bili, usong-uso, kaya bumili ako. Alam niyo naman ako, magogoyo, bili agad. Tapos after 1 month, nakakaiyak. Laos na lang! Bagong labas. Ano ba yan? Hindi na talaga ako bibili kasi mabilis malaos yung binibili ko yung cellphone, nakakainis.
Ano ba yan, girl? Kasi sunod ka lagi sa uso. Buti pa ako. Itong ginagamit nating fan-video ngayon, ilang taon na yan. Tignan mo naman, ang ganda. Oo. Diba? Hindi nagbabago yung quality.
Yes.
O, ikaw naman,
Ay, ako naman, kahit yung mga binibili kong product, kahit hindi original, di ako nagsasawang bumili kasi well-innovated yung product, pang original ang dating.
Taray! Nawawa ka sa inyo!
Ayan, ganap na ganap ang magbibeshi sa fad, fashion, and classic. Nice naman!
Ang dami naman tanong ng mga Beshi viewers natin. So, eto na! Next na! The influence and adoption, resistance and diffusion. Go, go, go! Ta-da-da-da!
Influence on adoption, resistance, and diffusion. Knowing that innovations may diffuse quickly or slowly through a market and that the success of a new product depends on how many people within the market adopt it. Marketing managers need to understand the factors affecting resistance, adoption, and diffusion. Characteristics of the innovation that can affect resistance, adoption, and diffusion. Perceived value. Consumers perceive that an innovation has value if it offers greater perceived benefits or lower perceived costs than existing alternatives do. Products with high perceived value may be more readily adopted than those with low perceived value.
Kapag perceived value, consumers ang pinag-uusapan. Yung mga consumers may different perceptions. Ngayon, kapag naisip nila yung product or services na ino-offer ay maraming benefits o kaya naman mababa lang ang price, mas mataas yung chance na i-grab nila yun disregarding the alternatives.
Perceived benefits and innovations value to consumers is affected by its perceived relative advantage, the extent to which it offers benefits superior to those of existing products. Something new offers a relative advantage if it can help consumers avoid risks, fulfill their needs, solve problems, or achieve their goals. Criteria that affect consumers' adoption decisions.
If the perceived values focus on the consumer, ang perceived benefits naman ay nakafocus sa usefulness ng product or services na ino-offer. If yung na-offer na new innovated product ay super reliable plus beneficial pa sa consumer, magiging mabenta yung product.
Dagdag pa na mas madaling mapredict yung success ng innovated product sa market kapag na-provide ng product or service yung benefits o mas mahigitan pa ang expectation ng consumers.
Perceived costs. Another aspect of the value of a product is its perceived costs. The higher the purchase cost, the greater the resistance, and hence the slower the diffusion.
The perceived cost is focused on the price of the innovated product or service offered. Diba we mostly perceive that when the price is high, the product is super effective and beneficial. But it takes a long time to purchase in the market because of the cost. However, it is sure that the demand will increase or the target profit will be reached because of the features or usefulness of the product or services.
Marami ka
Realme,
nagugustuhan,
oo.
gano'n.
Pero may time na babalik ako sa OPA kasi sa Oppo kasi
Opa?
bakit ka babalik sa Oppo?
Sa Oppo.
Kasi nakikita ko ang dami nilang qualities na magagamit ko, pati yung mga freebies nila, tapos mababa pa yung price nila, ganun. O ikaw te, ano bang ano mo?
Ay ako kasi hindi talaga ako mabilis sa gamit. Katulad nga ng sinabi ko kanina, 'di ba? Matagal na tong phone ko na ginagamit pang video. Tapos kasi ang tinitignan ko talaga yung usefulness ng product na bibilin ko. Ikaw, girl!
Ay ako kasi hindi ako tumitingin sa presyo. Basta lang magustuhan ko yung quality, bibilin ko na. And sabi nga ng iba, 'di ba? Kung mas mahal, mas matagal ko namang magagamit.
Tara, yan naman tayo, girl!
Characteristics of the social system. Modernity, resistance, adoption, and diffusion are affected by the social system's modernity, the extent to which the system consumers have a positive attitude toward change. Consumers in modern systems value science, technology, and education and are technologically oriented in terms of the goods produced and the skill of the labor force. The more modern the social system, the more receptive its consumers are to new products.
Modernity is the ability to move a step towards a constantly changing world, and consumers are more receptive to innovative products that offer a better version. Also, in modernity, people do not base on who invented, but someone has to be the first to make the product better.
Homophily. The homophily, or overall similarity among members of the system, affects acceptance. Diffusion is generally faster when consumers in the market are highly similar in education, values, needs, income, and other dimensions.
For example, the love of same. In the proverbs, birds of a same feather flock together, means that people with similar preferences and interests can be found together. In this situation, due to normative influence, the pressure of adopting the innovation and speeding adoption and diffusion will increase.
Hello, guys! So, nakita ko nag-post yung World Balance sa Facebook page nila. Sale sila, buy one, take two. Ay, buy one, take two. Buy one, take two. So, bibili ba tayo?
Sure, bili tayo!
Buti na lang magkakapareho tayo ng mga gusto, no? Sa isang bili namin, di ba? Tatlo na kami.
Swerte
ng World Balance!
agad!
Physical distance. Diffusion tends to be slower when members of the social system are spread apart.
We all know that makeup products are popular with women, but due to the physical distance, they can't express what the characteristics of those products. Unlike homopoly, the diffusion and adoption increase, while in the physical distance, they will experience slower diffusion when consumers are physically separated.
Hello! So guys, dalawa lang kami kasi yung isa nating bibi ay nasa probinsya. So, ipapakita natin ang kanyang senti mode. Hirap naman na malayo sa Manila, pati sa mga kaibigan. Hindi ko na alam kung anong trending doon ng mga shoes.
Yay! Napanood yun na ba yung senti mode ng aming BB? So, ano sa tingin mo? Makakabagal ba siya sa pag-angat ng sales sa market?
Oo naman, maapektuhan nun yung pagtaas ng sales sa market. Kasi imbis na bibili tayo, pas muna.
True, pas muna. Kulang kami isa eh.
Opinion leadership. People with credibility, such as experts or opinion leaders, can have considerable influence on product adoption and diffusion because they may spread positive or negative product information to others.
For example, all beauty guru vlogger. They provide reviews and information on cosmetic products. So because they are beauty guru, whatever their product reviews, whether positive or negative, it has a big impact on product adoption and diffusion. As I've said, before the consumers buy the product, they make sure if the quality is good and also if they are satisfied before adopting it.
This is all for today. This is your DJ Raisa. Hanggang sa muli. Paalam!